Well, we've been working at the shop for the past couple of days and trying to get some projects done, but it is a beautiful, beautiful day. In fact, it's just been beautiful the last few days here in Central Oregon, and it's just been too long since I've been able to get up into the woods since I've been at the shop. So I figured I'd grab Ben and the old Ford truck and we'd just go up for a little bit of a day hike. I really enjoy being up here in the mountains, and I do enjoy driving the roads up here and just kind of checking things out and seeing what's what, especially if the days are not very nice. Like if it was a really rainy day or something like that, it can be nice to just spend some time in the truck and drive around and see what there is out there. But man, when it's beautiful like this, I just feel like it's so much better to park the truck somewhere and just find somewhere where you can just wander through the forest. I just feel like you just get such a deeper connection that way. All right, so my plan today is actually to go spend some time hiking up in some area that I used to spend a lot of time making videos back when I first started the channel back in 2013. Kind of 2013, 2014, I spent a lot of time doing more kind of primitive style camping up in this particular part of the forest. So where I'm walking along here, going into the woods, is actually an old forest road that's been gated off, and it borders a nice little creek, and especially on a day like today, you know, where it's middle of winter and the sun stays pretty low all day. It's really pretty along here the way the sun's hitting everything. We're gonna hike up in here a little ways. There's a spot where a couple of my friends and I used to go up and we'd make shelters and camp and make videos about it back in the early days of the channel when it really was Primal Outdoors and not Van Outdoors or whatever it is now. But yeah, for those that aren't really aware, you know, or are pretty new to the channel within the last, I don't know, 6-7 years, you know, this channel has been going since 2013, and it did not start as an overland or van life channel. So one of the things that's really kind of surprising me as I'm walking through is just the lack of snow. I mean, we just not had a winter this year. I mean, it's beautiful today. It's January, mid-January sometime. I don't know the exact date, but I mean, I'm comfortable in a light shirt. We're in the mountains. There's no snow anywhere. It definitely feels a lot more like it's mid-spring versus midwinter. So this old road that I'm on forks right here, but I'm gonna head up this fork because that's where we used to always go up and camp and make shelters. But honestly, I don't really remember what's down this road. It might just be nothing. So this fence to me seems new. I honestly don't remember this being here when I came up here before. Like I said, it's been years and years. I don't think I've been up here since like 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. It was probably the last time I ever came up here. But this thing just doesn't seem, I just don't have any memories of it. So I'll have to look back at old footage to see if this was here. But my gut feeling is that it was not. I feel like it was put here not so much to keep wildlife out. They have a bunch of, I see there's a bunch of aspens in here, and it looks like that's what the fence is here to protect. But I feel like it's more to keep the cattle out that they let graze up here during the summertime. And I have to say, I kind of forgot how pretty it is up through here. And being that it feels, like I said, a lot more like spring than midwinter, it's just beautiful with the sunlight coming through this meadow. And then there's just little bits of sunlight filtering through the trees and lighting up this hillside over here that's turning all green. Yeah, it's really spectacular. Still a little bit of snow over here where it gets a little more shade, but man, just not much. It may not be a whole lot of snow, but Ben's sure loving it. So I'm actually starting to get into the spot where we would set up shelters. Now, back in the day when we were doing more primitive style camping and bushcraft, a lot of the stuff that we did, we built with natural materials. So to be honest, after so many years, I don't expect to see a whole lot left up here, but I figured it'd be fun to just walk around and see what we find. So here's one of the shelters that was made during that time period. I didn't make this shelter, but my friend Casey with the Coyote Works channel, and then another friend of mine, Todd Stone, that had the Central Oregon Survival Network YouTube channel, they put this together one day, and then I came up a little bit later, and they were pretty much already completed with it. But we had a little fire out in front, and I can actually still see the logs we used for a bit of a fire reflector. But I am really surprised to see just how much of this is still here, because it was a completely natural built shelter. Pretty much in disarray right now. We ain't much use for anything as it is, but brings back good memories nonetheless. Now I'm walking around at this point and I'm trying to remember exactly where my shelter was at. I know it wasn't too far from where Casey's was, but so far I haven't seen it where I think it should be. But that's just kind of the thing. There's a lot of deadfall in here too. You know, a lot of trees that have fallen that I don't necessarily remember, of course, but I'm just not sure, like I said, what I'm looking at, and just trying to find something that sticks out to me that I remember. All right, well, I found mine. There ain't much left of it for sure. In fact, it looks like one of the main supporting trees has fallen over. But basically, I'm sitting in what was the front of a lean-to shelter. Now, my shelter wasn't completely made out of natural materials. I used some... Hi, bud. Hi, bud. I used some natural materials, and as far as some supporting beams, but I had made a tarp out of a old cotton bed sheet using linseed oil, and I would drape that over the top of the supporting beams, and then this would be like my entrance, and my fire and everything would have been out in front. But like I said, there's not much left. The two main beams that I had here, I would have been inside, so the tarp would have came up and this would have been the inside of it here. And then I would have put some pine boughs inside as a mattress, and then I had like a sleeping bag and everything. And then, like I said, I had a long fire out in front that would keep me warm at night. And then some of the supporting structure I see is still here, but most of it seems to be gone. I do see some bits and pieces of what would have been the fire break I had, or the little reflective wall, but yeah, not too much left here for sure. Well, I've just been walking around, just exploring the area a little bit, and just above from where my shelter was at, I found another one. Now I have no recollection of this one. I don't know who built this, but it does look like they might had taken a piece from my shelter and used it, because that looks like one of the supporting structures that was missing from down there that I didn't see. I was wondering what had happened to it, but it looks just exactly like it, so I'm sure that that's got to be it. But like I said, I know some of the other guys came up here other times. Somebody must have built this at some point. It looks like it's probably been around since about that same era, but has a raised bed. I'm assuming they must have had a tarp or something that went over the top of them, and then they slept up on the raised bed. And then again, they had a fire, like a firewall or a reflective wall for the fire right there. So, yeah. Somebody came up walking on this stuff. They probably think these were pioneers from the old days, but really it was just a bunch of YouTube geeks back in like 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look at when the videos were posted, but give me a better idea. But yeah, just a bunch of YouTube geeks up here making shelters. What do you think, dude? Is this fine? So this is interesting. Definitely looks like a den of some sort. Big old hole right there, and you can see where all the dirt has been pulled out. But I mean, I don't see anything right now that indicates it's in use, but yeah, that's a big old hole. I wonder what was living in there. If you have a guess, leave in the comments below. So as usual, Ben has found himself what I call a wilderness treat, which is basically some kind of bone or poop or whatever thing he deems as edible out here in the woods, but he seems very happy with it. Well, I have to say that that was a pretty enjoyable trip down memory lane. I really didn't expect to find too much. I'm actually kind of surprised at what I did find. But there's still quite a bit of day left. I know it looks like it's late, but it's just winter and the fact that the sun's just not very ever high in the sky. But I think it's only like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to go back down to where that road forked, and I'm going to head up the road. Honestly, like I said, I have no recollection of ever walking up that road any further. So I figured since I have some time, I might as well go check that out. Plus, if anything, it just gives Ben some more exercise. Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, I just still can't get over how beautiful of a day it is. I know winter's not done with us quite yet, but man, the sun on my back right now feels absolutely amazing. Well, folks, the sun is starting to drop down. I found just one little patch here where it's still getting down in this valley, and it is stunning. I just cannot believe that I never walked down here before. It is so gorgeous down here. And it's so close. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how close this is to where we were hanging out and making shelters, that I never came down here and explored this. Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever been in a spot that you just frequent all the time and then realize at some point after being there lots of times or not being there for a long time that there was something spectacular right by it? And I'm going to definitely come back here and do some more exploring. I haven't gone as far as I can see that I can go up here, but like I said, I'm starting to get a little bit chilly as the sun's starting to drop over. I mean, to stand here in the sun, it's glorious. And it feels really good, but whenever you go out of the sun and you're in the shade, you realize it is definitely still winter. But I am just really enjoying this, and I'm gonna, like I said, I am definitely going to come back up into this area some more. It's not too far for me to get here from the shop, so it's a great way to come up and exercise Ben, spend some time with him, and then still be within shooting distance of the shop to get projects done. So I'm really going to enjoy that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. A little trip up memory lane, kind of remembering a little bit where the channel started. Just spending some time outdoors. Beautiful day. Yeah, getting some exercise in bed. Can't ask for anything better. It's just good times. Just good times. Anyhow, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down below. And we'll catch you guys again outside.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.